My friends, how are you doing this evening? Guess it's gonna happen. Guess we're gonna have a war with Russia and Ukraine. I've been at work and coaching all of my classes this evening and got on Twitter to see that Russia is indeed invading Ukraine. And I just want to start my video by saying that I want to see AMC and all the meme stocks squeeze as much as the next person. I want some real market change, but it greatly saddens me to the point that we are, at war, and there's going to be a lot of senseless violence and innocent lives lost. And so I would have never wanted any of that to happen for the sake of the dollar. And so I genuinely hope you feel the same way. If not, try to do a little soul searching. Once again, I want to see these. I want to see squeezes, and I want these hedge funds to get crushed as much as the next person, but not at the sake of what is going on right now. It's truly saddening. I promised a video this evening, so I'm going to go ahead and do the video. Honestly, I thought about tweeting out. I'm going to skip the video due to everything that's going on in the world, but a promise is a promise. So here I am. So let's talk just a little bit. One thing that was cool about today was seeing Elon Musk coming out and basically saying, like, he is gathering evidence to go up against the SEC. He was backing up the DOJ investigation with the short sellers. I posted multiple tweets and articles about him saying that that's exactly what he is going to do. So if the richest man on the planet is upset about short sellers, we all know at the end of the day, money talks. And so if there's anybody on this planet that can shed some real light and get some attention and some media going, then it's going to be him. But from a TA perspective, let's kind of look at the chart. So first things first, from my video that I did on Monday, I said if this red box is not going to hold, then more than likely we're going to come down here and we're going to fill this gap down here on SPY. So coming down here and getting into this gap fill, and more than likely that would cause just a little bit of a break below. I looked earlier, and if you look at from where hold on, let me get rid of the volume. So if you go from the low of COVID up to the top, you can see that the 236 comes to about 397 and 90 cents. And so coming down here and sort of touching that before moving back up. The reality is war long term wise, purely from a market standpoint, is bullish, but short term we're going to see some freak out. So if you are someone who cannot handle seeing a bunch of downside in AMC stock, then I think tomorrow is going to be the day that you need to look away, because I think we could see some serious downside tomorrow. A 10 to 20% downside move would not surprise me. So I said in my video too on Monday that AMC was at a decision point. I showed right here that we were sitting right here and we were kind of on that air pocket, and we either needed a push back up or we were going to break below and we were going to come all the way back down here and test the bottom of our support. So I would like to normally see this support hold up tomorrow right around that 1550 range, but based off of how futures look right now, as I'm sitting here making this video, currently futures are in the red, minus 700. Sorry, I don't know if you can see that. Minus 700. The NASDAQ is down 375. Russell minus 48. So, just be ready for a complete bloodbath tomorrow is reality. Once again, though, it's just, as I've said multiple times on Twitter, just the smallest amount of news is just really, shaking the entire market right now. It's crazy. But liquidity is going to be drying up, which is going to be what we want for our play. Like I said, it's just at the end of the day, it's really sad how this is all playing out. It genuinely is. I hate it, but I mean, there's nothing Colin in Amarillo, Texas can do about it. So I'm gonna be just kind of watching, hoping for the best, expecting the worst. So from a falling wedge standpoint, I think we could come down here and sort of test the bottom of this wedge. That would be in that $13 range. Remember, guys, on the VPVR, so basically what this is showing is how much is the volume that has taken place at certain levels. And you can see right here where we saw our really solid bounce last time at that 13. That's a big old volume shelf. Sorry, guys. So pretty much from 1427 all the way down to like 1365, we have some pretty solid volume areas. And this is where I was talking about on my video on Monday, where if we didn't, start breaking up towards this area, then you can see right in here, we still had, a little bit of an air pocket right there. And so that's kind of why we are breaking back down and we're just, we're building up, more levels in here. So I think coming down here, getting a double bottom, in this 13, to 1450 range, I think is probably what's going to happen. I was watching Dave. If you don't know who I'm talking about, I would be surprised. But if you don't know already, a guy named Dave Marino Jr., he does a lot of really solid TA, and he was drawing his line. He was basically drawing his line kind of like this. So a little bit different than mine. Okay. And, this is a valid way to draw it as well. I pretty much just drew mine once again from the buy button collapse. I talked multiple times about how much I liked how it was providing solid resistance right here. And then once we broke through, then it became support. So that's why I liked my line. Saw him kind of drawing his like this. So his would kind of come down to like right around that $15 range. That's also one that we could look at. As far as the fibs go, I think we need to throw out a little bit to extent the short-term fibs, because I think there's a good chance we're going to probably come down and see some lows. As of right now, we are resting right in the middle of the golden pocket. We talked a lot about how on the short-term time frame, AMC does like the 786, which would be 1471. That would be one to look at. The 885 would be 1407, and then of course our double bottom would be right around that 1335 range. I do think that even no matter what, we will probably see a relief bounce. So even if we tanked in the morning, which as of right now it looks like, but once again, who knows what news might come out in between then. So even if we had a day like what we had back here on January the 28th, where we broke support, but we still closed above the support line, I would be okay with something like that. So even if we came way down low in the morning, and then towards the afternoon, we heard something like, hey, there's going to be, Russia's willing to come to the table, or, we're going to call a ceasefire for a little bit, see if we can talk this out, and then we kind of come back up here. That's kind of my most bullish case for tomorrow, okay? But right now, just going to be, watching this support that has held up since January the 24th. But if we go back here and we look at some fibs, so from the buy button collapse, where we hit that low, once again, the 618, so 1450 to 1337, which once again, if you looked at it, with the VPVR, look at that. The golden pocket is also two of the most heavily traded ranges. Shocking. Once again, sorry, I can't help myself every single time I see stuff like this. But, so I would love to see, once again, our golden pocket area hold up for tomorrow, but I think those are going to be some pretty realistic. So that's going to be, I'm definitely thinking somewhere between 10% down is probably realistic. And so I know you guys don't want to hear that. I don't want to say that. But if I've said it once, I've said it a million times. My channel will never be about hopium or rocket emojis or telling you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what I think you need to hear. And if you don't like it, please feel free to not watch my stuff. But this is going to be, I think, reality for us tomorrow. So it's going to be a good moment to average down. I've got some dry powder ready. I'll probably buy it about that 1450 area if we see it, because I do think we'll see a relief bounce. It might not be the rest of this week, but I think going into next week, once again, I wouldn't be surprised if over the weekend we hear some, talks of diplomacy or anything along those lines, some ceasefires. Hey, let's go to the table. Let's work this thing out. Stuff like that. That wouldn't surprise me. Remember, guys, for me, everything's just about the narrative. I tweeted out earlier, CBS talking about how it's truly disgusting. It was like, oh yeah, the inflation and everything like that. That's Ukraine's fault. Yeah, this is as disingenuous as it gets. It's all about the narrative. Ukraine is just a fall guy for grossly mismanaging, our economy and everything like that. The U.S. economy has been hit with increased gas prices, inflation, and supply chain issues due to Ukraine. Bro, if you've been paying attention, we've been doing this for at least 6 to 12 months now. Like, just shut up. It's disgusting. But it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. We're not just going to sit here and punch the air and smash our keyboards like most trolls do. But I definitely want to see, so our double top right here that led to the run in June, this golden pocket, I really want to see this hold up tomorrow, okay? If not, you can go back and watch my video from like a couple weeks ago. I think the title of it was like $10 or $20. Let's take a look. And so I made a case for coming all the way down to $10, which would be like the 786. If I extend this fib all the way down from our all-time low before the January run, coming down here, and you can see towards the bottom of this wedge, $11.82 would be the 0.5 retracement. So I'm not ready to call out anything like that. I don't think that is going to happen just yet. Because we do have a lot of solid support, and we've seen a lot of good reactions to this 618. And I mean, if I zoom in here, I mean, you can see, my friends, it just it just doesn't get any clearer than this. So, like I said, that's mainly what I'm going to be watching for as far as downside targets. Also, if we look at the Bollinger Bands, so you guys know that I talked about the tighter these get, the more we can expect a volatile move. The Bollinger Bands are designed, so this is a 20-day estimated moving average that's running through here, and then they have two standard deviations to the upside and the downside. Sorry guys, I just knocked my phone out of my lap. But what it does is it is supposed to track about 95% of all the trading that goes on with AMC. And like I said, back here, when it got really, really tight, and myself and just about everybody thought we were about to start, running up and pushing towards all-time highs, it got nice and tight, and we saw a big move. Unfortunately, once again, that big move was to the downside. So we want to see these Bollinger Bands get tight. The good thing about today is our retraces are very low volume, and once again, we are just now starting to hit, I know everybody wants to scream manipulation when it comes to AMC, and if you followed me long enough, you know that I'm not that guy. I think all stocks are manipulated. Yes, I think GameStop and AMC are more manipulated than your average stock, but I think they all are manipulated. So if you're just I want to scream manipulation 24/7, you won't get any sympathy. I won't engage in that, because I think you're right, but I think they all are. So if this was any stock other than AMC, we would be looking at a very normal retracement. But just because it's not just going to the moon, everybody wants to cry manipulation. It is very normal when you see a move like this. We saw a 56% move. It's very normal for us to come back and retest these liquidity zones down here, guys. All right? So I understand you're frustrated. I understand you're tired, but you also need to, once again, live in reality. So this is a normal, we haven't done anything other than a normal retrace so far. And then due to the crazy news that we're going to have, we're probably going to see more downside. And once again, the 786, plus the volume that I already showed you, the VPVR, plus the fib retracement from the bottom. There's a lot of support going to be in this 1450 area. But at this point, I think that's what we need to expect. So I'll be watching the news and everything like that as much as the next person. And once again, please don't be, as they say in The Big Short, just don't dance, okay? Don't be cheering for war or anything along those lines. Once again, I'm with you from a standpoint. I want stocks to squeeze as well, but let's make sure that we show some humanity. So I don't know about you. I am a faith-based man. I am a praying man, and I'm going to be praying for the innocent people of both Russia and Ukraine and what's to come. And I hope this gets resolved as quickly as possible. I hope you feel the same way. Just hang tight. Like I said, if you can't handle it, walk away from the ticker tomorrow, but we'll see what happens, okay? If we do keep pushing down real low, once again, we want to see the real low volume continue with that. But that's pretty much everything I've got for you guys. Stay safe, stay calm. Let's all try to be kind to each other. Have a good evening, all right?